We have breaking news coming out of Japan this morning on the Toyota and Lexus lineups for the next year or two. Let's have some fun. We're over at Best Car Web, Japanese magazine and scoop site. We're going to get into this. If you're new to the channel, my name's Kirk. Talk about Japanese and Korean cars exclusively on the channel. Reviews as well. I got an IS 500 coming in for review this week. So let's get into the freshest deets coming out of Japan. And it's pretty exciting stuff here. So they're saying 4 Toyota and Lexus SUVs are expected to appear this year and next year. So by the end of 2023, we'll have 4 new Toyota or Lexus SUVs. And if we didn't have enough, the website is reminding us globally we already have a ton. Corolla Cross, CHR, Hilux, Harrier, Yaris Cross, Rise, RAV4, RAV4 Prime, Land Cruiser, Prado, the whole Lexus lineup with the UX 300e, the LX, RX, NX. Do we need more crossovers? Apparently, Toyota thinks we do. And don't forget about the BZ4X coming out this year, as well as the Lexus RZ450e. So we already have 2 more crossovers coming this year alone, and we have more coming on top of that. So let's talk about the Crown first. The legendary sedan came out in the late 50s, if my memory serves me correctly. It was available here in the United States for a period of time, and then once Lexus was in the picture, there's no chance of the Toyota Crown coming in. But it is still relevant in Asia and especially in Japan. So let's talk about what's going to go on with the Crown and the Crown Cross. My gosh, guys. We just got the Crown Kluger for Chinese markets. We also have the Yaris Cross as well as the Corolla Cross. Now they're going to give the large sedan and the lineup the Cross treatment. And what we're looking at here is more than likely what the next Crown is going to look like. And it's going to be like an Audi A7, sort of lift back sedan, sort of 5-door vehicle. But they're also going to lift it up and call it a Cross. So what this reminds me of is their Lexus battery electric presentation, where they had 2 different sedans that were fully electric, mind you, and they're 5 doors. So one was more of a street going version, a little bit lower to the ground, better handling. And then another one was like this, that had a lift kit on it, was a little bit more sport cross, and hence the Cross name to this vehicle. And it looks like Toyota could be giving that sort of treatment to the Crown before it even comes to the Lexus end of things when they do the fully battery electric lineup. Now they're saying that the new Crown is ditching rear-wheel drive. We've heard this before. And they're saying most of them will have all-wheel drive. And it's going to be all-wheel drive like we see on, let's say, the RAV4 hybrid, for example. It's going to be using the GAK platform, which underpins the Camry, the RAV4, the Lexus ES, the Sienna, the Highlander, the new NX, RX, etc., etc. V6 is gone, of course, which we're expecting to see the V6 get ditched in the new Lexus RX as well. Some are saying that there's going to be the gasoline turbo grade equipped with sporty dynamic torque vector and all-wheel drive. So if that has the 2.4 turbo, that's essentially the exact same setup that we see in the NX with 275 horsepower or so and 317 pound-feet of torque. And since we're not going to be getting the Crown here in the United States, this front-wheel drive platform is based off the Lexus ES, or should I say it's shared in common with the Lexus ES. So there's a potential that what we're seeing in this next Crown is going to be a very similar picture of what we're going to see in the next ES. However, we just got a refresh of the ES for 2022, so 2023, 2024, and then by 2025 would be a redesign, and in theory it would be very similar to what we're seeing here with this Crown and potential Crown Cross, but I think Lexus would add a plug-in hybrid on top of that more than likely. Now, they're saying that the new Crown could appear later this year in 2022. Heck, I'm all for it. I'm excited to see a new Crown. They're ditching the old TNGA N platform, which is a modification of the L platform, which the Lexus LS and LC is on. That platform is just not very flexible. It's kind of heavy. And so they're looking to have better fuel economy, and they do that by switching to the front wheel drive based K platform, which it's tough to see the Crown lose its rear wheel drive front engine identity, but things are going to be changed. I mean, 10 years from now, 12, 15 years from now, the Crown will be fully electric in theory, or a fuel cell. So it's only a matter of time before it starts losing its identity as it transforms into a more electrified future. Moving on from the Crown, what we have here is a Lexus entry SUV. And when I first heard this, I'm like, oh great, maybe they're replacing the Lexus UX, which they need to do, or at least come out with a second generation that's a little bit bigger. Lexus teased it in their battery electric announcement with this new vehicle. However, we still don't have any confirmation about Lexus UX replacement. So what this is telling us is that this is going to be slotting below the Lexus UX. So we're still waiting to hear on a more flexible Lexus UX, maybe based off the Corolla Cross sort of package. Ultra compact city car will probably never come to America. This is what it's more than likely going to look like. It's based off a concept we saw maybe 5 years ago for a Lexus city car. And I've been hearing rumors for a couple of years now that this vehicle will be coming out. So we'll see. It could be coming up by the end of this year or next year, or at least be announced. And they're saying it would cost between 2.8 million to 4 million yen. Roughly, that's starting at $25,000. So the current UX right now starts at 33,000 MSRP, front wheel drive, non-hybrid. So we're talking about $8,000 less potentially for an entry level city car for Lexus. And it will share a lot with what we already see on the market, especially when it comes to the Yaris. The Yaris has a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder hybrid setup. You can get all-wheel drive in it in the Yaris Cross, for example. So that sort of system could likely be seen in this small Lexus crossover. Again, I don't think it would be coming here in the United States. Like I said, we don't even get the UX 300e here in the United States, so I don't expect this vehicle to make it here stateside, unfortunately. It would be nice to have a little bit more fleshed out lineup. Don't think it's going to happen. So more exciting stuff here. We're still on the Lexus end. They're saying the Lexus LF-1 is still coming to production. I've given up on this probably since last summer of 2021 at ToyotaCon or HQC Confidential. I just got the vibes that Lexus was ditching this LF-1, or some people have been calling it the LQ, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be called LQ. LF is still a possibility, but this is what they're saying about it. Take everything today with a grain of salt, because this is a scoop site, rumor magazine. They're saying it's based off the LS's platform, the GAL, also shared with the LC500. That makes sense to me. I mean, to be honest, at this point in time, the LS doesn't need to be around. If they're making the Crown a sedan and a crossover, to me, it would make sense that they would make the LS a sedan and a crossover. Very similar. They could use a lot of the same interior parts and designs. One's just a little bit more higher off the ground, and the LF would just have more cargo capacity, but they could call it the LS Cross. I mean, that sounds awful, but maybe the LS Plus. I don't know. 3.5 twin turbo V6 that we see in a lot of Toyota products at this point, after the Tundra, the Land Cruiser, the LX, and the LS brought this engine out. They're saying 3.5 liter V6 hybrid, which is pretty much a unicorn here in the United States. They don't sell any LS hybrids or LC hybrids really. But they're saying that the twin turbo V8 is still planned. I also gave up on the twin turbo V8 last summer. So to be honest, I don't think this vehicle's coming. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to have it. I think it needs to be in Lexus lineup to replace or just be alongside of the LS, but not getting my hopes up, especially when we saw the Lexus battery electric lineup. There is nothing quite like this vehicle in there, except for that raised ES LS replacement that can be a sedan and lifted up like a crossover, like we just saw on the Crown. But I'll see you guys down below if you think the LF or the LQ, whatever you want to call it, is coming. I still don't think it's coming. It's an amazing concept that just doesn't fit with their battery electric future. But what does fit with their future is an adaptation of the Prado, which would be the Lexus GX. So let's see what they're talking about the Prado. Coming summer 2023. I guess it's a possibility. I think originally it's supposed to be late 2022. It got delayed, so we're talking summer 23. For the Lexus GX, it's probably a full year after that, or maybe even less, because if you look at the Land Cruiser, let's say it came out in the fall of 2021, and the LX was available here in the States Q1 of 2022. So maybe a 6-month difference between the Prado and the Lexus GX. So best case scenario, we're talking first half of 2024 for the Lexus GX. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed from there. But let's read what they have to say about the Prado, because that's going to affect the GX as well. Of course, it's going to be based off the same TNGA-F platform like the Land Cruiser 300, like the new Tundra, like the new Sequoia. Front suspension is a double wishbone. Rear suspension will be the same as the current model with a robust axle, so solid axle. They're saying the dimensions are just in line with the current one. That doesn't need to change. Now, all they talk about is the 3.3 liter V6 turbo diesel that's found in the Land Cruiser 300. We won't be getting that. Here stateside, we'll be getting the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. Should be detuned a little bit, somewhere around 350 horsepower, because GX 550 was trademarked. And twin turbo V6 I've heard confirmed through a few sources of mine, but I'm expecting to be detuned because 550 does not equal LX 600, right? So it should be detuned from the LX's 409 horsepower. I'm expecting around 350 horsepower. And if we looked at the SR grade of the Tundra, that produces around 348 horsepower, and just real quick, a 405 pound-feet of torque. So I'm expecting that sort of detuned V6, twin turbo V6 setup to make it in the Lexus GX, which would be a nice upgrade in terms of torque and power over the 4.6 liter V8 that we currently have. 10-speed automatic transmission, of course, full-time 4-wheel drive like the current Prado and Lexus GX. But that's all we have coming out of the Toyota Lexus end for now. I don't think the LF is coming. I think Lexus GX will be coming maybe first half of 2024, Prado second half of 2023, and I think that small Lexus city car could come around. It's not coming to the United States, but the Crown to me, other than the Prado, for example, I think the Crown has the greatest implications here in the United States for the Lexus ES. Do I think we'll get a crossover ES? No, because we already have the RX. That's essentially what the RX is, right? But all-wheel drive turbo 4-cylinder is a possibility in a next generation Lexus ES. And people are saying we could even get this Crown here stateside because of the Avalon is dying by the end of 2022. So it opens the doors for a Crown, but if that Crown makes it to the United States before the Lexus ES is redesigned, rest in peace Lexus ES, because the Crown is almost Lexus quality and it's going to have more advanced powertrains than what we currently have in the Lexus ES, especially with all-wheel drive. We don't even have that. Anyways, we need to keep moving. Speaking of electrification, Nissan's new Leaf will be released April 2022, and this is over at Creative Trend, another Japanese rumor site. The issue with this is that it's not going to be a redesign. It's only more than likely just another exterior refresh, very minor interior changes. So don't get your hopes up for, you know, a liquid cooled battery pack Nissan Leaf. It's not happening. This is a minor refresh. It's a very affordable electric car, bargain basement, doesn't have all the features that you would want in an electric car, but it gives you that electric car lifestyle for a cheaper price here. So I just felt like mentioning that to you guys. And then some sad news here. As of February 15th, suspension of production at Subaru's facilities in Japan. This is going to be at the Gunma plant. They produce the Forester there, the BRZ, the GR86, and the Yajima plant. So I think that also should affect the Crosstrek as well. And the engine transmission is being shut down just a couple days. But the last time I heard, Subaru was on back order of like 40,000 units. This isn't going to help their cause here. So things should be easing up with semiconductor shortages in the second half of this year. We're already seeing Toyota expecting a record level of production in March for a single month ever by like 80,000 units. Very impressive. So hopefully this isn't a bad omen for Subaru in the rest of the year, but I'm going to end it there. If you enjoyed today's video, smash the like button, subscribe for more Japanese Korean auto news. I'll see you guys talk about it in the comments below, especially with the Crown and the crossover, the LF becoming a production car, the Prado, all that fun stuff. Anyways, you guys know I could keep talking about it for days. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.